Have you ever had that moment when you wake up in the morning with new vigor and zest for life, only to realize how temporary that feeling really is? Quickly, your memory kicks in as you make your way from the bed to your closet, and by the time you get in the shower, fear has again taken over. The confusion, the agony, and the frustration all kick in almost simultaneously as you look at the day ahead. Your inner walls go up. Your to-do list that you are too tired to write and instead try to memorize is all hazy, and the traffic sucks again. Many people go through life not recognizing what it is they are actually dealing with. Is this just a normal cycle of fear that everyone else goes through? Is this mild stress or maybe generalized anxiety disorder? Is this health anxiety? Does this kind of feeling lead to panic attacks? What is a panic attack? Welcome to the incredibly confusing world of mental health and health anxiety. You shouldn't be alarmed that I've mentioned the words mental health though. I believe that the problem exists at a level it does today because of the fact we don't talk about it enough. Today is your lucky day though. I want to help you get a little closer to finding the Holy Grail. That means recognizing what it is you are actually going through in your inner world of turmoil and leading you to personal achievement. I simply want you to take a couple minutes and just answer these preliminary questions before we get deeper into this audiobook. Let's get started with this health anxiety test. Question number 1. Have you experienced any excessive level of worry about various aspects of your life lately? Question number 2. Do you find yourself feeling overly restless or edgy? Number 3. Lately, do you find yourself much more easily angered or even irritated by different events that would normally be very minimally annoying? Question number 4. Even during times you realize the worry is needless, do you still experience anxiousness? Question number 5. Lately, do you find that concentrating is much more difficult due to your health anxiety? Now, if you have health anxiety, it's important to take action against living with this kind of feeling today, not tomorrow. This is because the longer you wait, the longer your patterns get embedded within you. But with that being said, don't let anyone tell you old patterns can't be changed, even subconscious ones. In all honesty, you'll find an anxiety test on many websites online, but the main questions you have already answered, and therefore you have a very good idea of what may be standing in your way towards living a health anxiety-free, fulfilling life. One thing that I want to warn you is this: hold back from cursing God or the universe on why you struggle with health anxiety. Reason being, you are part of the solution going forward. As the anxiety epidemic continues all around us and the number of people with the condition skyrocketing yearly, we can clearly see that today's first line of treatments are not working. That is why you have been given this struggle, and with every struggle comes determination. If you are determined to overcome these inner feelings that may be weighing you down right now, you will overcome health anxiety naturally. With that type of knowledge, you will be able to help others, and around we go until the world truly sees that the people who create the real changes in this world are you and me. Why health anxiety sufferers don't get help. Studies show that as much as 14% of the population has experienced some form of health anxiety. So why is it that less than half of those actually get help? Why is it that anxiety sufferers don't get help? Speaking up about health anxiety and mental health issues. Society will always have people who look down on people that suffer from health anxiety. Those types of people are why health anxiety sufferers don't get help. And it doesn't just end there. It's because of those people that sufferers of most, if not all, mental health issues don't get help. The fact that people are having to suffer so deeply because of the stigma that surrounds mental health is actually, in one word, depressing. People who are already suffering so much should not have to suffer even more because of how society will judge them. Mental health needs awareness spread. Without people knowing about mental health and health anxiety, they will never feel comfortable with talking about it and getting help. What people say can deeply affect one's way of thinking. The main reason for why health anxiety sufferers don't get help is the fear of being judged and criticized. We've all been heavily criticized and nobody likes it. But for someone suffering from health anxiety, think of the criticism being weighted 100 times. It then becomes very, very unpleasant for them. Because of this, most, if not all, health anxiety sufferers don't get any help or speak up about it. This only makes them feel worse and they don't get the help that they truly need. Understanding health anxiety. Having gone through therapy for my anxiety during my professional tennis playing days, I've seen it all. I've been through the whole group therapy thing as well as the one-on-one anxiety and panic counseling for many years, and my conclusion is that there is a potential danger that exists with anxiety therapy for the sufferer. It was recently brought to my attention from a long-time friend of mine who's also been a psychotherapist for over 9 years that making a living for many, not all, anxiety therapists keeps them from telling you a very important truth, and that truth is this. You can actually learn the secrets to curing your anxiety in 10 to 15 minutes. Change happens when you start thinking progress over perfection. Of course, the professionals would be losing a great deal of business and steady income if they told you this. Notice how I said learn though, and not end your anxiety in 10 to 15 minutes. You, the one suffering from anxiety, must take full responsibility for your condition and stop the search for the magic pill or technique once and for all. I see incredible changes in people daily through cognitive behavioral therapy. But these people accepted the fact that there is no magic cure out there for health anxiety and began to take their issues into their own hands instead of looking for someone else to tell them what to do. Think about the time and money you would be saving from anti-anxiety medications and constant therapy if only you built up the willpower for a short amount of time to learn how to turn your anxiety switch off through CBT. Anxiety can be a complex issue for many, but this does not mean it needs to take years to calm your nerves and desensitize you from your fears. Many times we become anxious over things that simply don't exist. We tend to imprison ourselves unconsciously, when in fact we ought to be free and enjoying life a hell of a lot more. Remember also that to be in an anxious state and in desperate need for professional help doesn't mean that you are crazy. It's certainly okay to have deep, legitimate feelings of depression and anxiety sometimes. And asking for help temporarily could be a good thing, but you must remember that dwelling on your melancholic moods won't make things go away. You must step up and begin to do your part, aside from all the external help you may be getting right now for your panic and anxiety condition. Begin to accept and let go. So many times we deny and don't accept our imperfections. We completely hate ourselves and how we may look, as well as put a huge emphasis on how others perceive us. Many people that come to me for help with stress and anxiety in their lives don't even like their own voice, while others are downright embarrassed because of their weight or lack of weight even. We can't let the illusion of beauty, success, and wealth from the media be the source of our misery. Could this be the deep-rooted source of your anxiety? Begin comparing yourself to others less today. I know for a fact that I was in a deep trance for many years, living with an anxiety disorder and hating the universe for making me this way. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. I made myself this way consciously and unconsciously. So don't let anxiety dominate your life. Understand that anxiety is often an introspective activity and it thrives on isolation. You are not strange or inferior. The moment you learn to accept who and what you are is the moment you begin to understand that you are not set apart from everybody else. Learn to let go through CBT and begin to free yourself from anxiety. Good distraction versus bad distraction. Many CBT coaches use multiple different distraction techniques to take you out of your anxious state. That's all fine and dandy, but there's one problem here, and that is that safety behaviors don't stop health anxiety. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely a time and place for them, such as when you're about to board an airplane. In this case, a safety behavior might be able to help you, the anxious person, control or avoid anxiety altogether and curb any pre-flight jitters. While the different kinds of distraction techniques might help you during times where you feel panic and anxiety creeping up, this conditions you to completely rely on these techniques to feel safe. So you can see how this cycle can actually create negative reinforcement in people with health anxiety and GAD. Safety behaviors don't lead to long-term anxiety control. In my experience helping people overcome health anxiety and GAD naturally through the End the Anxiety program, I hear a very common story in sufferers. They tell me that when their anxiety therapists solely base their strategy on distraction techniques for health anxiety, it typically led to not working well in most cases, and straight towards the next choice, which were benzodiazepines. In case of emergency from symptoms of anxiety, using benzos are also a form of safety behaviors. Learning not to run to safety behaviors will greatly improve your sense of self-efficacy and build much needed confidence to face your fears gradually and naturally. So the question becomes, what type of distraction methods help in the long-term strategy to overcome health anxiety? For me, it was in the form of taking up a new hobby that completely took me out of the what-if cycle of panic and anxiety. Say hello to photography. Try it, and you just might turn your profession from your anxiety to photography. Photography is not a safety behavior, nor is it a CBT safety technique. It's plain and simply a tool that helped me in the long term to end my health anxiety naturally. I became so involved in the beautiful photos I was taking with my new camera outdoors that in time I began to turn my focus completely around. I became so intensely passionate about photography that even when I felt my heart palpitations, body zaps, lump in my throat feelings, or any other sensations of anxiety lingering in the background, I was too occupied to give them any respect. An unconscious reconditioning was taking place without me even knowing it. This is the kind of distraction that will actually contribute to growing confidence against health anxiety. I hope I've made it completely clear to you the kinds of distraction that works towards the long-term solution for health anxiety rather than the short-term help. Also, your hobby doesn't necessarily have to be photography. It can be anything that you've given up in order to fully focus on trying to control your sensations of anxiety. It's time to bring that passion back, guys. It's time to go through the temporary hardships of turning your focus from your anxiety to something your future anxiety-free self will thank you for. Why most anxiety groups and forums suck. You see it over and over again on online anxiety forums and groups. People looking for answers to concerns about health anxiety, fear of leaving the house, and information about a certain anti-anxiety medication or antidepressant. But there's a problem here. Mainly the one where these questions are being answered by people who are also suffering through these behavioral problems as well, and rarely from people who have been in the sufferer's shoes and have overcome their generalized anxiety, panic disorder, health anxiety issues. For example, Let's look at 3 more examples of how most anxiety forums and groups could be keeping you in the anxiety loop rather than providing any positive results. Number 1, they don't provide real solutions. Most comments or questions on anxiety forums, chats, and groups are negative and fearful ones, understandably. These are usually met with a comforting response by someone who is going through similar experiences such as hang in there or this too will pass. As much as these answers give the anxiety sufferer a temporary feeling of being cared for and accepted, it doesn't do anything towards overcoming GAD and health anxiety. Number 2, they reinforce being comfortable. Sitting on a computer won't stop the fears that are driving your high levels of anxiety, simply because the formula to create change is planning, plus effort, plus consistency, which will equal results. For example, when an online marketer is trying to provide a solution for people through a product, what does he do? He tests things over and over again through making changes on his website, for example. If that marketer doesn't get the desired result, what does he do? He changes his approach again and again. So the question is, how far have you gotten in your progress in stopping GAD and health anxiety lately? Number 3, they make you numb to positive posts. Here's a step-by-step way anxiety forums are used. The poster posts a problem or a comment. The problem or comment may get a few responses, mainly in the form of reassurance that things are okay. The post eventually gets lost in the mix of newer posts. In a world where our attention spans are so short, we become so caught up in the problems that we and others are facing that when an actual post comes up that provides a possible roadmap or a solution to a problem, we tend to ignore it due to the fact that we are numb to what is good. Or we put it into action for a short while, we don't see the desired result, and we give up completely and say, it didn't work. There's a saying in professional sports, and it goes like this: never change a winning game, but always change a losing game. There are 2 things you need to do if you suffer from an anxiety disorder. Number 1 is to see if your progress in the last few weeks is what you truly desire deep down. Number 2 is to tweak the tools you use in order to get on the road to recovery from health anxiety and GAD once and for all. Finally, answer this question for me, please. Are anxiety forums digging you a deeper hole or providing you a positive change in your life? That's the question. 10 secrets from health anxiety recoverers. A few years ago, I was able to put an end to my severe health anxiety naturally. A condition that leaves millions of people in the dark and completely confused. Since my recovery from severe health anxiety, I've dedicated an enormous amount of time studying the people who have stopped severe health anxiety naturally through the End the Anxiety program as well as on their own. In this final chapter, I want to share with you here some of the secrets that the natural recoverers of severe health anxiety do not do, and how these habits have helped them to overcome their anxiety condition naturally once and for all. Deeply understanding these things will go a long way towards ending your own severe health anxiety condition as well. So here we go with the 10 things severe health anxiety recoverers do not do. Number 1, they don't surround themselves with negative people. Negative people are plain and simply toxic and do nothing for your progress through severe health anxiety. The sooner you weed these people out of your life, the sooner you'll begin creating a shift within you. I promise you, warriors. Number 2, they don't constantly look up their new symptom of anxiety online. I am guilty of this one for a very long time. The all-knowing internet has many positives and a few negatives. The negative for you, the health anxiety sufferer, is that it's time to stop turning to Google for answers to your new symptoms of anxiety, which is in fact hard at first, but it's definitely worth it in the end. Number 3, they don't look for instant results. In my 6 steps to stop GAD video, I explained the importance of step number 5, which is patience. Being caught up in the severe health anxiety cycle can lead to checking in to see if you're feeling better almost all the time. The correct mindset is to not have any expectations on when recovery will be achieved and keep thinking progress over perfection. Number 4, they stop scanning for the bad and begin focusing on the good. This one's a little tricky, but successful people who have ended their battle with health anxiety have found a way to stop scanning for the bad in everything. I suggest that whenever you hear a compliment, accomplish something worthy, or do something that makes you feel good, that you take 10 seconds to fill yourself with gratitude for that accomplishment. Soon, you'll be able to stop scanning the bad and begin scanning the good instead. Number 5, they don't turn to a doctor for answers each and every time a new challenge comes up. I'm just going to come out and say it. Doctors suck at mental health. You can't blame them because anti-anxiety medications and antidepressants are what they are trained to treat your severe health anxiety with. People who have overcome severe health anxiety naturally have stopped calling their doctor when some new challenge pops up, and this should be a priority for you as well. Number 6, they stop playing the victim card when speaking to others. Now here's a great quote. The definition of insanity is trying to get a different result by doing the same thing you've been doing. Stop playing the victim card. You are better than that. The cycle of health anxiety is here today, but in order to be gone shortly, you must stop telling people about your condition. A great habit to build starting today. Number 7, they don't speed through life. A common trait I've found helping people with health anxiety is that they stop speeding through life. They say that it only adds to their anxiety levels when they eat fast, drive fast, walk fast, etc. Consciously take a look at whether or not your life is speeding by and take steps to slow down. In fact, the best thing I ever did was to write the letter S on my palm to make sure I remembered to simply slow down, focus on my breathing patterns and my posture. Number 8, they know the difference between good advice and bad advice. Most people don't know what it's like living with severe health anxiety and being a full-time hypochondriac. So it's only right that they can't give you the advice and direction you need. Make sure you take some time to look back and separate the people who have been in your anxious shoes and are giving you good, solid advice, compared to those people who do care about you but are only feeding the health anxiety fire. Number 9, they stop avoiding everything that they fear. Sometimes one brave step can create some incredible confidence and momentum. Talking back to your body zaps to let your subconscious know that it is caused by your anxiety. Taking a drive around the block when you couldn't even stand to look at your car out of fear. Or even something as small as drawing a picture of your greatest fear and hanging it up on your bedroom wall can take you out of fear and panic and into a more comfortable world. In the end, don't avoid everything you fear if you want to stop your health anxiety naturally. Number 10, they fully understand that they actually cannot read other people's minds. You are not a mind reader, so stop thinking you know what others are thinking about you. Becoming socially acceptable is a big reason for heightened anxiety in today's world. The sooner you understand that most people have their own worries they are working on, the sooner you'll start releasing the fear and tension built up by trying to fit into the world. I am so happy to be able to share these findings with you here today, warriors. Why? Because this type of knowledge truly can be difficult to find through today's first line of treatments for severe health anxiety. I suggest that you listen to this audiobook a few times to get the reality of health anxiety and GAD. If you enjoyed this video and got value from it, please leave a like and comment below. Also, share this video and help a sufferer in need. Remember, warriors, you are more than anxiety. Bye, guys.